You might have heard whispers, little rumors drifting through collector groups, late-night videos, and social media posts, claiming that some ordinary-looking Washington quarters, the kind people ignore every single day, might actually be worth far more than anyone expects. Some say a few of them hide shocking errors. Some say rare versions have sold for thousands, and a few even claim that one or two could be worth life-changing money. But here's the truth. Tonight, we're going to expose 5 quarters that almost everyone has seen, touched, or spent without ever realizing what they truly are. Some are common, some are deceptive, and one of them has a secret that collectors don't talk about openly. Before we reveal which one holds the highest value, before we break down the myths, the realities, and the shocking truth about their worth, watch closely. Because the quarter sitting in your drawer right now just might be the one you never expected. Let's begin. Let's start with our first coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers, tiny echoes floating around the internet, TikTok videos, collector groups, and YouTube comments, claiming that some Washington quarters, especially the 1970D, are secretly worth thousands, even millions. Stories of life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight, waiting in someone's pocket, someone's drawer, someone's old coin jar. And today, we're going to pull this coin into the spotlight and uncover the truth. But before we reveal the real value, the real truth behind those million-dollar claims, make sure you watch closely, because the reality might surprise you more than the rumor. The 1970 D Washington quarter is a piece of American history struck at the Denver Mint during a time when the classic eagle design was still proudly used on the reverse. On the front, you see the familiar portrait of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, with liberty arched above his head and I in God we trust resting near his profile. Below, the date 1970 appears clearly, and the small D mint mark sits beside it, marking it as a Denver-struck coin. On the reverse, the bold American eagle spreads its powerful wings, clutching arrows of strength, surrounded by olive branches of peace, a design that symbolized the nation for decades. By 1970, quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, the mint struck them with a copper-nickel-clad composition, copper at the core with nickel layers outside. This means the 1970 D is not a silver coin, even though many people confuse older quarters with silver. However, despite lacking silver, this coin is still collectible, especially in higher grades and rare conditions. So what can this coin actually be worth? Well, a regular circulated 1970 D quarter, the kind found in pocket change, typically sells from 25 cents to around $1. In better condition, especially AU or low mint state examples, it can reach a few dollars. But the real excitement appears when we talk about uncirculated coins. A sharp, untouched 1970 D quarter graded MS-65 can sell for around $20 to $35. At MS-66, prices sometimes reach $80 or more. And rare, high-end examples graded MS-67 have been known to sell for several $100s. A few exceptional pieces have even pushed past the $1,000 mark, but these are extremely rare and must be flawless. But this coin also has a secret world of error varieties. Some 1970 D quarters with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double-die details have sold for anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on severity. And the rarest of all, a 1970 D struck on a foreign planchet, once sold for thousands. Cases like this fuel the rumors, the hype, the legendary stories. And now, the moment we reach the question everyone wants the answer to, does the 1970 D Washington quarter have any million-dollar versions? Here is the truth. Despite the rumors, despite the viral videos, despite the dramatic claims, there is no confirmed 1970 D Washington quarter worth $1 million. The only coin from 1970 that ever reached insane value was a rare proof coin struck on a 1941 Canadian planchet, and that was a San Francisco coin, not a Denver one. The 1970 D has valuable errors and can be worth good money in the right grade, but not anywhere near $1 million. The $1 million claims come from misunderstandings, clickbait, and confusion between different rare coins. The real 1970 D is a collectible coin, yes. It can be worth a nice amount if you find an error or a high-grade example. But it's not a lottery ticket. It's not $1 million treasure, and knowing the truth actually helps collectors understand what to truly look for. So if you've got a 1970 D Washington quarter, keep it safe. It might not make you a millionaire, but in the right condition or with the right error, it absolutely can reward you. Let's move on our second coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers, quiet little rumors drifting through social media, YouTube comments, and collector groups, saying that some modern Washington quarters, including the 1988 P, are secretly worth thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, or even whispered as million-dollar coins. People claim that hidden treasure might be sitting in your change, in your old drawers, in jars you forgot years ago. And today, we're going to peel back the mystery behind the 1988 P Washington quarter and reveal the truth. But before we expose the real value, before we answer the question everyone secretly hopes for, keep watching till the end, because the reality might shock you even more than the rumors. The 1988 P Washington quarter comes from the Philadelphia Mint, proudly carrying the small P mint mark on the obverse. It belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series, first released in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. On the front of this coin, you see Washington's iconic profile, sculpted originally by John Flanagan, surrounded by the powerful word liberty above and the national motto "In God We Trust" beside him. The year 1988 sits prominently below, marking this coin as a part of the final decades before the statehood quarter program changed everything. Turn the coin over and the reverse tells its own story. The bold eagle, wings spread wide, standing strong atop a bundle of arrows, symbols of military readiness. Below the eagle sit two curved olive branches representing peace. The inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar complete the design that millions of Americans grew up seeing each day. By 1988, this design had been in use for more than half a century, and every scratch, every shine, every detail carries a piece of that history. The 1988 P is a copper-nickel-clad coin. Like all quarters made after 1965, it does not contain silver. It's made with a pure copper core and outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. This means its melt value is very low, just a few cents, but its collectible value depends entirely on condition, rarity, and errors. So what can the 1988 P actually be worth? Let's break it down. A regular circulated 1988 P quarter, the type you'd see in pocket change, usually sells for face value or maybe up to $1. In better condition, lightly circulated or AU examples may bring $1 to $3. When we look at uncirculated coins, things become more interesting. A sharp, crisp quarter graded MS 64 or MS 65 might sell for $10 to $20. Higher grades like MS 66 can reach $50 to $60. But the real jump happens at MS 67, where collectors start competing fiercely. These coins can sell for hundreds of dollars because very few 1988 P quarters survive in such pristine condition. And the highest grades, MS 68, are incredibly rare. These have sold for several hundred to over $1,000 depending on the market. But that's not the end of the story. Errors are where the 1988 P becomes exciting. Some of the most valuable error types for this year include off-center strikes, double die obverse, clipped planchets, misaligned dies, and broad strikes. An off-center error can fetch $50 to $150 depending on how dramatic it is. A strong double die or a major misstrike can reach hundreds. A rare wrong planchet strike, for example, a 1988 P quarter mistakenly struck on a dime or nickel planchet, can sometimes reach into the thousands. These unusual mistakes are the source of many viral treasure coin claims, and they're the reason some people think ordinary coins from the 1980s might be worth huge sums. But now, we get to the part everyone waits for. The truth behind the million-dollar rumors. Does the 1988 P Washington quarter have a million-dollar version? Here is the full, honest truth.
No.
There is no confirmed 1988 P quarter worth anywhere near $1 million. The rumors online come from misunderstanding, exaggerations, or videos that mix different coins and different errors. While a perfect, flawless, ultra-high-grade example may sell for a few hundred or maybe above 1,000, it does not come close to the kind of value that would make someone rich. Even the rarest errors from this year have never approached that extreme amount. The million-dollar stories come from confusion with completely different rare coins that happen to be quarters or from people spreading dramatic claims to get attention. The 1988 P can be a valuable coin, yes, especially in high grades or with rare errors, but it is not a million-dollar rarity. It is a modern collectible, not a life-changing jackpot. But here's the good news. Your 1988 P Washington quarter can still surprise you. If it has a dramatic error, an extreme off-center strike, or a nearly perfect mint state condition, it can absolutely bring a strong price. It may not buy a mansion, but it can definitely become a rewarding find. So keep your 1988 P safe. Because a coin doesn't have to be worth $1 million to be a treasure. Sometimes its story, its history, and the hunt itself are just as valuable. Let's move to our third coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers, faint little rumors drifting through the coin world, spreading across TikTok, Facebook groups, and YouTube channels, claiming that some Washington quarters from the 1980s, especially the 1985 P, are secretly worth a fortune. People talk about hidden money, rare errors worth thousands, and some even hint at million-dollar quarters lying unnoticed in someone's old drawer. And today, we're going to uncover the truth behind this coin. But before we reveal the real value, before we expose the reality behind the million-dollar rumors, keep watching, because the truth is far more interesting than the myth. The 1985 P Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carrying the small P mint mark on the obverse. It belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series that began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. On the front, you see Washington's iconic profile, sculpted by John Flanagan, with liberty standing boldly above his head and the motto "In God We Trust" nestled beside his image. Below his neck sits the date, 1985, marking this coin as part of the pre-statehood quarter era, a time when classic American symbolism still dominated everyday change. Flip the coin over and you're greeted by the powerful bald eagle, wings spread wide across the reverse. The eagle stands on a bundle of arrows, a symbol of national strength, while olive branches curve below, symbolizing peace. United States of America arcs above the eagle's wings, with the denomination $quarter resting at the bottom. This design served Americans for more than 60 years, one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. Like all quarters minted after 1965, the 1985 P is made of copper-nickel clad, not silver. It has a pure copper core and outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. This means the melt value is very low, only a few cents, but its collectible value depends entirely on condition, rarity, and errors. So what can the 1985 P actually be worth? In everyday circulated condition, the typical pocket change example, this coin usually sells for 25 cents to about $1. Slightly better examples, such as AU grade pieces, may go for $1 to $3 depending on eye appeal. But things change when we enter the world of uncirculated coins. A mint state 1985 P graded MS 64 or MS 65 may sell in the $10 to $25 range. Higher grades like MS 66 can reach around $50 and sometimes more depending on demand. The real challenge, and the real value, appears at MS 67. Very few 1985 P quarters survive in such flawless condition, and collectors actively compete for them. These can sell for several $100s. And in elite grades like MS 68, the coin becomes incredibly rare. Examples in this condition have sold for over $1,000. But the story becomes even more interesting when we talk about errors. The 1985 P Washington quarter has several valuable mistakes collectors love to hunt for. Off-center strikes, especially dramatic ones, can sell for $50 to $200 depending on the percentage of the off-center strike. Clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, and misaligned dies can also bring strong prices. A powerful double die obverse or reverse, though rare, can easily sell for hundreds. And a wrong planchet error, such as a quarter struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank, could cross into the $1,000 range. These unusual mistakes are the fuel behind many viral claims. And now, we reach the moment everyone has been waiting for. Does the 1985 P Washington quarter have a $1 million version? Can this simple, everyday coin hide a life-changing treasure? Here is the complete, honest truth. There is no confirmed 1985 P Washington quarter worth $1 million. The online rumors come from misunderstandings, clickbait claims, and confusion between different error coins from different years. Some videos mix coins together or exaggerate the value of rare errors, creating the illusion that ordinary circulation coins from the 1980s can be worth extreme amounts. While high-grade examples or dramatic errors can bring good money, sometimes hundreds, occasionally thousands, they do not reach anywhere near the $1 million level. But that does not mean the 1985 P is worthless. Far from it. If your coin is in exceptional mint state condition or carries a rare error, it can definitely be valuable. It might not make you rich, but it can absolutely surprise you. And that is the true beauty of collecting. The excitement of discovery, the thrill of finding something unusual, the possibility that a normal-looking coin might hold hidden potential. So keep your 1985 P safe. It may not be a million-dollar treasure, but it remains a fascinating piece of American history, and with the right error or condition, it can still be worth far more than face value. Let's move on our fourth coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers, soft, exciting rumors floating through collector groups, YouTube videos, and late-night conversations claiming that some Washington quarters from the 1980s, including the 1986 P, are secretly worth a fortune. Some say they've seen posts about rare 1986 quarters selling for thousands, or mysterious errors worth more than a car, and a few even hint at impossible treasures, like a million-dollar version hiding in someone's pocket change. Today, we're going to break down the truth behind the 1986 P Washington quarter. But before we reveal whether any part of those whispers is real, before we expose the truth behind the million-dollar rumors, stay with me till the very end, because the real story is more surprising than you think. The 1986 P Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, carrying the classic P mint mark just beside Washington's portrait. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. John Flanagan design has remained one of the most familiar in American coinage. On the front, Washington's profile faces left, with liberty stretched across the top and I in God we trust placed confidently to the left. The date 1986 rests at the bottom, marking this coin's place in the later years of the pre-statehood era, a time when millions of these coins were struck for everyday circulation. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the powerful American bald eagle proudly dominating the reverse. Its wings spread wide, symbolizing freedom and national strength. The eagle stands firmly on a bundle of arrows, a reminder of America's readiness to defend itself, while olive branches below represent peace. Surrounding the eagle are the words United States of America and quarter dollar, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum positioned above the bird's head. This classic design served millions of Americans for decades, making the Washington quarter not just currency, but a piece of daily national identity. Like all quarters minted after 1965, the 1986 P is not silver. It is a copper-nickel-clad coin, with a pure copper core and outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition was designed to replace the rising cost of silver and keep everyday currency affordable. Because of this, its melt value is only a few cents, meaning any value it holds comes from condition, rarity, or errors, not metal content. So, what can the 1986 P actually be worth? Let's break it down piece by piece. A typical circulated 1986 P quarter, the kind found in pocket change or coin jars, usually sells for 25 cents to around $1. Slightly better examples in AU, almost uncirculated, condition may sell for $1 to $3. That's normal for a coin that was produced in the hundreds of millions. But in uncirculated condition, the story changes. A sharp, clean mint state example graded MS 64 or MS 65 can sell for $10 to $25. Higher grades like MS 66 are scarcer and typically bring $40 to $60. The real challenge, as always, lies in MS 67 and above. Very few 1986 P quarters survive in such pristine condition. These can sell for several $100s, and extremely high-grade examples graded MS 68 can even break above the $1,000 mark depending on the market and the eye appeal. But it gets even more interesting when we look at errors, because error coins are where the big money hides, and where most of the viral stories come from. The 1986 P quarter is known for several collectible error types. Some of the most valuable include off-center strikes. Depending on how dramatic, these can bring $50 to $200. Clipped planchets, typically $20 to $60, more if the clip is large. Broad strikes and misaligned dies, often $30 to $100. Die cracks, cuds, and die breaks, small ones between $10 to $30, large ones much more. Double die obverse or reverse, strong examples can reach hundreds. Wrong planchet strikes, these are the holy grail. A quarter struck on a dime, nickel, or foreign coin blank can reach hundreds or thousands depending on weight and metal. These rare mistakes are the fuel behind the wild stories. They're the reason some people believe ordinary-looking quarters from the 1980s could be life-changing treasures. But now we arrive at the moment everyone waits for. Is the 1986 Washington quarter ever worth $1 million? Here is the honest, complete truth. No, there is no verified 1986 quarter worth anywhere near $1 million. The rumors online come from confusion, exaggeration, or videos that mix various coin years and rare errors together. Some creators use dramatic titles, while others combine values from different coins, creating the illusion that simple circulation quarters like this can reach extreme prices. The highest value 1986 quarters are either extremely high-grade mint-state coins or extraordinary error coins, and even then, they top out in the hundreds or occasionally the low thousands. Nothing in the known market history comes close to the $1 million mark. But that doesn't make this coin unimportant. If your 1986 quarter has a dramatic error or is in near-perfect condition, it can be a very rewarding find. It may not buy a mansion, but it can definitely surprise you, and sometimes that excitement is worth far more than the coin itself. So keep your 1986 safe. Every scratch, every shine, every detail tells a part of its story. It may not be $1 million rarity, but with the right condition or error, it can still be a powerful little piece of value hiding in plain sight. Let's move on our final coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers, quiet, mysterious rumors floating across YouTube videos, TikTok clips, and coin collector forums. Whispers that ordinary-looking Washington quarters from the late 1980s, especially the 1987 D, might be hiding shocking value. Stories claiming that some of these coins have sold for thousands, or that rare versions could even touch million-dollar treasure territory. But before we reveal the truth behind these dramatic claims, before we uncover what this coin can really be worth, stay with me till the very end, because the reality of the 1987 D might surprise you even more than the myths. The 1987 D Washington quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, proudly carrying the D mint mark on the obverse. It belongs to the historic Washington Quarter series that began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, has become one of the most familiar and iconic images in American coinage. On the front, Washington's left-facing profile is centered beneath the bold word Liberty, with the national motto "In God We Trust" placed neatly to the left. The date 1987 sits at the bottom, marking this coin's place in the classic eagle era of U.S. coinage. Flip the coin over, and the reverse presents the proud American bald eagle with wings spread wide, a symbol of national strength, freedom, and authority. The eagle stands atop a bundle of arrows, representing readiness and defense, while olive branches curve beneath it, representing peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. This simple but powerful design served the nation for over 60 years before being replaced by the statehood quarter program in 1999. Like all quarters made after 1965, the 1987 D is not silver. It is a copper-nickel-clad coin composed of a pure copper core with outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. Its melt value is only a few cents, meaning its real worth depends entirely on condition, rarity, or mint errors, not on metal content. Now let's talk about value, the part everyone waits for. A typical circulated 1987 D quarter, the kind found in pocket change, usually sells for 25 cents to $1. Examples in slightly better condition, such as AU, almost uncirculated, may bring $1 to $3. This is normal for a coin produced in huge quantities for everyday use. But the story changes when we move into uncirculated territory. A mint state 1987 D quarter graded MS 64 or MS 65 may sell in the $10 to $20 range. Higher grades like MS 66 can reach $40 to $60. The real competition begins at MS 67, where collectors hunt aggressively. These coins can sell for several $100s, and extremely high-grade examples, MS 67 Plus or MS 68, are incredibly rare. In those grades, the value can stretch into the hundreds or even over $1,000 depending on the market. But here's where things get especially interesting: errors. Error coins from this year are responsible for most of the online hype. Some of the most valuable 1987 D errors include off-center strikes, dramatic ones can bring $50 to $250. Clipped planchets, typically $20 to $80. Broad strikes and misaligned die strikes, $30 to $120. Die cracks, cuds, and die breaks, depending on size, $10 to $150. Double die obverse or reverse varieties, strong ones can fetch hundreds. Wrong planchet errors, such as a quarter struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, these can sell for hundreds to thousands depending on weight, metal, and strike detail. These rare, dramatic mistakes feed the viral stories that make people believe ordinary 1987 D quarters might be shockingly valuable. But now we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for. Can the 1987 D Washington quarter ever be worth $1 million? Here is the full, honest truth. No, there is no confirmed 1987 D quarter worth anywhere near $1 million. The rumors come from misunderstanding, clickbait videos, and confusion between different coin years and different errors. Some creators combine values from extremely rare proof errors or older silver coins, making it seem like a normal 1987 D could reach those insane amounts. But in reality, the highest grade 1987 D quarters may sell for hundreds. The most dramatic errors may sell for hundreds to a few thousand. But nothing comes close to the $1 million level. Still, that doesn't mean this coin is uninteresting or worthless. Far from it. If your 1987 D quarter has a dramatic error, or if it is in extremely high mint state condition, it can absolutely carry strong value. It may not change your life, but it can absolutely surprise you, especially if you find one with flawless surfaces, strong luster, or unusual mint mistakes. So keep your 1987 D safe. It might look ordinary, but the right coin with the right error or condition can still be a small treasure hiding in your hands.